Try playing 10 hours.
A 10-hour game.
10-hour games, longer than the YouTube allows us.
Yes. A Labor Day game. Hello and welcome, everybody. Happy Labor Day. For once in my life, I actually have today off, so that's nice. We are sans Davern today. He got voluntold to do some work. So it's
Voluntold.
just doing a little kind of an off one-shot-ish type of uh, game today with our same characters. And in fact, I think we will go ahead and just jump right into it if you guys don't, if you guys didn't have anything that you wanted to say beforehand.
Other than having an awesome game, hopefully.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning!
Good morning.
Even for those of us who haven't gone to sleep yet.
But then I guess it's still a good night to you.
In the middle of the day.
Yes, yes. So, trying to think of what exactly would cause Davern to be absent today from this adventure.
We can
Especially
begin with a
since we're-
recap and figure that out as we go. Because I do know
Mhm.
what happened. So we can begin with a recap. If,
Oh, sure.
We
Who
did
remembers
things.
it the best? Because
There's
I
a
don't.
dragon. There's a dragon. We did things. All our shit got stolen. Cliffhanger. Don't remember what the cliffhanger was.
I don't remember what that
We
was.
came out of the Feywild and we tracked Nasili to a cave, and there was a dragon, and we convinced the dragon to give us back Nasili in exchange for killing 2 other dragons, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Supposed to
there are
kill
2
other
juvenile dragons that were being a pain in the butt.
They were encroaching on his space, and he couldn't do anything about it himself because of the dragon code, whatever.
Right,
Okay.
and they were also a mating couple when they weren't supposed to be doing that either.
Right.
Because they're 2 different colors or something, right?
Yeah.
Right, because color mixing, because racism, and and
But you know,
Right.
racism is only in fantasy that it exists anymore in this country, right?
yeah, nowhere else
And
ever.
then we can't forget that Chin also had a breakdown at some point.
Yes,
Mm.
he certainly did that. It was glorious.
Yes, he had the little wizard talking in his head, telling him to trying to sow the seeds of doubt about blight or not blight to try to
Yeah.
separate her.
Blight.
Yes, blight. I'm sorry, your new name is Blight now.
Blightwood.
That's fine.
So then-
If I remember correctly, Blythe didn't take kindly to that and
No.
scared the guy away, kind of. Pretty much.
And then we went back to the boat, and everybody was gone, and all of the magic items are gone. And there was
Yeah.
something that made us believe it was Damien Trice-Roy that took everything.
Well, he left.
I don't know if it
I
was
think
just
he left a leaf,
A message.
I think he left a calling card.
Yes, and
Okay.
Davern understood what the message was, and he conveyed that to us, and then we went back to the Feywild. And then we met up with like a little civilization or something at one point.
You did?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember Damien, or we all kind of touched the leaf at the same time. I believe that was last session.
And I remember vaguely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
And then we found all of Davern's old people.
Yeah, and the dragon was kind of keeping his distance. I guess we told him not to. Or
Well, yeah,
Naturally-
because it was a whole bunch of animals that were able to talk and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We really should have rewatched the last episode.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
I
had, like,
feel
a little
like I
comedic
feel like
moment,
some of
too.
this is out of order.
I think we had a little comedic moment too with either Nasili or the shoot, what's her name? Oh no, not Nasili. That's it. And my panther, the white paw.
Mm.
I
I think all the animal companions had like a cuddle pile at one point.
Yeah.
I think white paw was actually trying to eat one of the animals, the local animals, and
He
they were
was trying to
chasing
eat
white
a
paw all
barbel,
around.
and the barbel got really big.
Yes.
And it was one of those Scooby Doo moments of
Exactly.
yes. Well, for the sake of today, and for the sake of not fragmenting the timeline too much with our lack of specific knowledge of the last game,
I thought we had a good recap right there.
we are not in the Feywild. We are in the real world.
I thought the Feywild was the real world.
Well, the Feywild is real, but it's not. It's not the.
Oh, I get it.
default
It's all
state.
made up on our mind.
Mm.
Gosh,
But
don't you know it? I freaking dropped my D20 and I rolled a 20.
nice.
Wasted D20.
I know.
I think the easiest thing to say is that the three of you went back to the real world, and Davrin said he needed some more time with his animals. He needed some more time in the Feywild, so he didn't go through with you.
Which, if we do it right, that might only be like a minute for us, and he's got a year.
Right. So you guys have been on this side of things for a few days, and you've been kind of wandering over the land, trying to find some more information, some more details on these dragons, and where to find them and what they've been up to. When you come upon a scene of about a half a dozen looks like local town's guard, kind of standing in a circle around this dead blackened tree, looking a little forlorn and almost nauseated, sick, as if they've seen something that they don't normally see. And you can see that they're trying to get a closer look at this crime scene that's unfolding. There's a body of a naked Sylvan woman kneeling at the base of the tree, and it looks like somebody has kind of positioned her in a as if she's praying to the tree, but just from the sight of her skin, you can tell that she's certainly not of this world anymore. And one of the guards looks to the three of you, and he begins to walk forward, and he says, There's nothing to see here. Move along. He kind of grabs the hilt of his sword.
There's something that you're seeing. Why can't we see it?
This is the
That
crime
makes sense.
scene, man. You can see he's trying to project authority, but at the same time, there's a pretty obvious fear hidden behind his eyes.
Does the tree look like the trees or whatever it was that we saw in the Feywild that had gotten all black and like cursed like?
It's hard to tell. It's definitely not a healthy tree. It's a tree that's kind of like charred, blackish, dead, nothing living on it. It's hard to tell at this distance much more beyond that. The guard just kind of steps forward and he says, look, unless you have anything else unless you have some skills and some investigation skills, we best move along. This is a fresh crime scene. We don't need anyone contaminating it.
Well, we might be able to find out something if we take a closer look, but from here we can't tell you anything. Is there any way we can get a closer look without contaminating that scene?
He kind of sheathes his sword and he says, I suppose it couldn't hurt. There's nothing much more we can figure out. We're just local towns guards. We're not detectives.
Well,
just try not to move too much around if you can help it.
We won't touch a thing.
it's probably not wise to try to touch a charred tree without knowing why it's charred, right? It seems to be a magical.
Do you guys know who she was? Like, is she from around here?
I don't know.
There's not a lot of Sylvan women in these parts. Our town is almost strictly 100% human. I've been asking around, but nobody can seem to name her.
Is there like any kind of Sylvan settlement nearby, or?
There is not too far from here. That's our best guess, is that she's probably from out of town. It's a hell of a thing to find, though.
Has the tree been black like this before you found the body?
We certainly haven't seen any trees in this kind of a state before. Well, except for in the Charwood, but that's very far from here. And it doesn't look like this was done with fire.
Well, at any rate, let's take a closer look.
And he kind of gives a signal to one of the other guards, and they kind of part ways. Says, we've taken all of the basic information that we can. If you discover anything, we hope that you'll let us know.
All right, so if there's nothing else, then I guess we'll head up towards the Sylvan woman. She's lying on the ground, or what's the state of her position as we approach her?
She's on her knees, and her arms are kind of forward,
As if she's praying.
as if she's praying. and you can tell that there were rope marks on her neck, on her arms, and on her ankles.
And what is she praying to? Is she facing the tree?
She's facing towards the tree.
Okay. All right. Let me see what I've got here.
I rolled a 20 nature check for the tree itself.
Hmm.
I'll do.
What
See if I
specifically
can
are you
figure out why it's
checking?
black.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to see if I can figure out what might have made it black like that, or where whatever made it black came from.
Okay. And while she's doing that, I'll do an investigation check on the Sylvan woman. But go ahead.
Okay.
Blythe actually hung back with the guards as they're walking away and says, "Okay, well now that my associates are gone, I have a couple of questions. So now you say that there's not very many Sylvan around this area. Kind of a lie, isn't it? There's not very many Sylvan where you live, but there's many Sylvan in this area. Is that correct?"
It's fair to assume that, yes. There's a bit of an implied segregation in our town. It's a nasty business, but it's the way that things have always been.
We've been coming across that a bunch these days, to tell you the truth. So, I only have one more question for you. If the segregation is happening, that means that you've usually, how can I put this, documented those that have tried to break through the segregation. Is that correct?
There are a record of those who are defiant of the law, yes.
So then have you seen this woman or have you not before? It's not, you know what I mean? It's not, is she one that has broke that segregation line?
She is, and he kind of leans forward and he says, she's a fairly prominent figure in the movement.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll insight on that.
What's that? Sorry, it's a little quiet for me, so I'm trying to hear everything.
Yeah, sorry. Is that better?
It's pretty much the same. It's,
Pretty much the same. That's kind of strange.
Loud for me, but
The rest of us can hear him just fine. Can you
okay.
not hear any of us?
These
fine?
headphones only get so loud.
Well, then the whatchamacallit's still available. The toolbox. You can just turn me up.
Oh, right.
Guess you'd have to turn all of us up for you.
Yeah. Let's see if that's any better.
Is that any better?
hello.
Seems to be.
Hello.
Seems to make everyone louder, like on all ends.
Didn't do it to me, but whatever.
It did it
I
for me,
just
for sure.
talk really loud. How can you hear me now?
You're gonna blow my eardrums.
I'm sorry, I did.
Probably the headset too, or the speaker.
But yeah. So she wants to roll insight on that to make sure that this guard is telling the truth.
He's on the up and up.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's unnatural 20.
An unnatural 20. Okay. You can tell that he was kind of being a little slick when he was saying that he didn't know who this person was. It's it might be considered a bad thing for him to know her by name because of her involvement. She's kind of a peaceful, conscientious objector type of the segregation. She does come into town usually in disguise in order to challenge the laws.
And what is her name, sir?
Oh, name. Let's see. I should probably think of one, huh?
That would help.
Well,
Bobette.
I'm assuming she has one.
They call her Isabella.
Isabella. Okay. And I know I said I only had one left, but why have you left her with us? It's a little peculiar. The town guard has left the crime scene with, well, me.
There's little else that we can do here. This is beyond our resources. We've documented what we've come and done what we've been told to do. The mayor is making short work of us. They don't want us to dig up too much information. But if some passers-by were to glean any extra information, I'm sure that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, your town guard are as helpful as always. Have a good day.
He kind of gives you a weary look. And Jitters, you were investigating the tree. Is it kind of like you're getting kind of close up to it, or is it just kind of getting a feel for it, or how's that?
Yeah, I was up looking at it pretty close. I wasn't touching it, but I was like right up on.
There's something very unnatural about the state of the tree because you've seen living trees before and you've seen dead trees before, but this tree is almost in kind of a limbo because although it's black and completely devoid of any leaves, it seems like there's some small amount of writhing that's happening just beneath the surface of the tree.
It's a zombie tree.
Before. And it very much feels unnatural.
Okay, it's a zombie tree.
And then Chen, you were investigating what?
I was investigating the body. So Chen walks up to the Sylvan woman who's fallen, praying, and he doesn't have a particular background as an investigator or anything like that. So he's just looking for anything that's obvious. And I know I rolled a failing roll, so I'm just going to go ahead and roleplay that he does not find anything specific on her person or around her person with regards to that would give us hints as to the whereabouts of her passing or to the state of the tree.
Yes, and the reason why you can't find anything is because she's literally wearing nothing, and there's no personal effects anywhere around the tree.
Okay.
She's not even the marks of the rope. There's no apparent rope nearby either.
And he will continue his investigation the way he knows how. He knows a little bit more with regards to magic. If there is anything that magical about her passing or to the state of the tree, perhaps he might be able to find that from that as well. But of course, I did not find anything.
Oh, you rolled a second separate Arcana check?
I did not. I just I was lumping that in with an investigation check. I can do an Arcana check, but I was actually about to do a medicine check to see if there's anything specific that they might have missed
Okay.
in terms of her health. I'm sorry?
Oh, they miss things because they're idiots.
Yes. Okay.
That's exactly what Blythe says. As you said, is there anything they missed? Yeah, they missed things.
Oh,
They told me her name actually.
okay, I got a 15 on a medicine check, and I'm checking like around her body. Maybe there might be something that's like hidden in her lips, or maybe a small scratch or something. Infected wounds.
What was her name?
Oh, we don't know. Blythe knows. She just yelled out to us that they're idiots. That's all.
No, and she mentioned that they gave her a name, so I yelled out, "What's the name?"
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Can you type it into the chat so that I say it correctly, Carl?
Does Carl remember what he just named her?
No, I remember. I just trying to think of like that. Like that, perhaps?
All right.
That is correct. That is her name, Isabella.
Yeah, Isabella.
I'm sorry. I was trying to say it, and then I was drinking at the same time, and I started coughing.
Yeah.
But Jen, your kind of close-up investigation of the body.
Yes.
You can see the bruising on the wrists and on the legs and on the neck. The body is ashen. Definitely has the Sylvan features, the pointed ears, and the eyes are kind of a brilliant color, even in passing. Scratches all over the body, like defensive scratches, and you can see that there's even a bit of blood underneath her fingernails.
Okay, so
Now, if he only had CI.
deductive reasoning would suggest that she has been put into this position. She was not naturally praying to the tree or of any kind.
Yeah. Sorry for shouting across, but her name is Isabella. She's apparently a freedom fighter, and against this whole you know how in the human village and that town that we almost died in, there's only humans there. You noticed that, right? Most of the time. Yeah, it's because they segregate pretty badly, and she's one of the ones that doesn't really stand for that. Yeah, she sounds like she was a great person. She really does. I think the best bet is to take a good mental picture of what we see here, and probably go to the closest Sylvan village and see if we can find anybody that knew her.
I could try and talk to some little animals around and see if they saw anything.
That's a wonderful idea to do this. Should definitely do that.
Then I'm going to go hunting for like squirrels or something nearby.
You see that the forest or the surrounding area is pretty devoid of wildlife, but there are these albino squirrels that kind of scurry around every once in a while.
Do I have to do an animal handling check to get close enough to speak with small beasts, or do I just use it?
I think
Usually just use.
I think it just lets you. But I mean, if you wanted to, just to see how it plays out.
Oh, I don't think they can actually talk back in a way I can understand, though. I'm just now rereading it. I can like gesture and communicate to them, but I don't think they can really talk back unless you want to like house rule that. I don't think I have a spell that actually lets them do anything.
So speak with animals. It's not speak with animals. It's a different spell.
It's speak with small beasts. I think it's a part of my gnome thing. And I think it's more because it says the wording of it is through sounds and gestures you can communicate simple ideas with smaller beasts. So I don't think it's anything they can communicate back.
Right, so they won't
Unless
be
it's
able
like
to say words to you. They won't be able to say words to you, but you can certainly, through pantomime and so
interpretive.
forth, do it. Yeah.
Okay, then I will attempt to communicate. More asking about the tree than anything else, or if anything weird happened. I'm assuming the night before.
Okay.
I don't know.
And it's like a series of chirrups and and squirrel sounds.
Squeak, squeak, squeaker, squeaker, squeak.
Squeak or squeaking. Well, yes. He kind of stops dead in his tracks and he just kind of looks at you, like, can't believe that you just spoke or that you're actually speaking to him. And he kind of goes, he points to himself like, and he like scurries down and comes out to at your feet. And he kind of tilts his head. He just seems to be waiting for.
Yeah, I pretty much just say, do you know about anything weird that happened at that black tree over there?
He looks over at the tree and he like shudders a little bit.
Do you know what made it black?
He pantomimes a hood going over a head.
Well, that's not ominous.
And then he points at a healthy tree, and he points at the black tree, and he points back at the healthy tree.
So it used to be healthy?
And he nods vigorously.
Was it last night? Sorry, I didn't mean to ask you that.
Yeah, how
healthy
long
yesterday?
has it been black?
He points up at the sun, and he traces backwards until it's below the horizon.
Yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, either that or super early this morning. Have you ever seen the lady before?
He nods his head.
Do you know how she died? Might be asking a bit much.
He kind of looks back and forth, and he cocks his head quizzically. He's not sure how to respond.
That's fair. Did the people with the hoods leave her there? I like pantomime the hood motion too.
He scurries over to a tree, and he grabs a branch, and he starts to drag the branch.
Hmm. Where did the people in hoods go after they left? Which direction did they go?
He holds out his fingers, and then
There was 5 of them?
and then he goes.
So 5 of them, and they scattered? Okay.
Seems like it.
He takes
Well,
he takes 5 acorns and arranges them in a primitive pentagram shape.
Oh, that's not good. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm going to give him a good berry and another one for his other albino friend that apparently he was screwing around with. Thank you.
He immediately stuffs them both in his cheeks.
That's right.
Selfish one, isn't he?
He was helpful though. Bye bye.
Beautiful.
Alright, I gotta go back to everybody else.
I'm sure that was an interesting experience for the other people in the party.
Yeah.
Squeak, squeak, squeaker, squeaker, squeaker. So he says that the tree turned black either last night or maybe really early this morning when the sun was still below the horizon. And there's apparently 5 people in hoods that stood around the tree, kind of like in a magic circle type of thing. And my guess is that they made the tree black and probably killed the Sylvan lady.
Wonderful.
And then afterwards, I think they just scattered. They didn't all go in one direction or anything.
Have I ever come across anybody that's been like that, in black hoods like that before? In my travels.
No, but the thing about that is that you guys have been in the Feywild for a while, so time has been passing.
Okay.
But yeah, those are, you haven't, there's people in hoods. That's a fairly common way of dressing, but nothing that would suggest that like a pitch black type of hood.
Okay.
Oh, they had dragged her body there too. That's another thing that he told me.
Hey, you're quite good with the nature. Why don't you look around to see if you find any drag marks?
Okay.
Not really my thing.
Is that nature or is that
That's
investigation, or which would that be?
Or survival.
Survival?
I mean,
I'll take
you
survival.
could argue either one because it just depends on how you're tracking.
I'll do survival. Ooh. Yeah, that's a 1.
Say what?
That was a 1. 5 altogether, if it matters.
Here, look again. And I have a point of inspiration that I give her.
Why don't
Really
you look closer?
15?
There we go.
So the first time that you were looking for drag marks, you notice that there's a massive amount of boot prints in the area that seem to be kind of covering up whatever drag marks would have been there from the night before.
Okay.
And at first you think, well, there's no way that I'm going to be able to track this because there's all these boot marks. But then you have the thought of the boot marks themselves are telling a story as well. You can differentiate almost between the different people that are involved, that seem to be involved, different weights and heights, pressing deeper into the ground.
Oh, if it matters, it was actually an 18. For some reason, I thought I only had a 1 in survival, but I have a 4. Sorry.
No, that's no problem. You can tell that a few of these tracks were made by the guards as they were investigating. A few of them were definitely made by people prior to that, and then underneath that, you can kind of make out where the drag marks were trodden over. And the drag marks themselves are covered up, but the tracks are still there. As if they had, as if they were walking behind the drag marks in order to cover them up.
Can I try and follow them back wherever the drag marks seem to have come from?
Yep. The ground is fairly soft, fairly wet. It's relatively easy to track.
Okay.
And it kind of follows down the hill in a relatively straight line. And then the tracks themselves lead into a main road, which then turn towards the town. And then beyond that, once you get on the main road, the tracks kind of begin to get covered up by all the other things, the cartwheels and yes.
Well, she definitely seems to have been dragged out from the town. Not sure she was still alive when she was dragged out or not. Though she might have been, because there was like rope marks on her wrists and stuff, and that usually only happens when they're still alive, right?
Mm.
Have medicine.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Not trained in it, but I have a 4 in it, so.
So what do you think? Should we go towards the Sylvan area, or should we go back towards the town?
Well, I mean,
you're calling,
we kind of already know who she is, which I feel is what we would have been going to the Sylvan part for. I mean, I guess we could go to the Sylvan part and ask around and see if she had any, like, really specific human enemies instead of just humans in general. Am I getting any weird looks since I'm not human? And not to mention
Chin's not human either.
Yeah. So are we attracting
the guards
some attention?
were pretty preoccupied with the whole thing to even notice.
Well, yeah, but now that we're apparently standing in town, since we trekked her into the main road or whatever.
Yeah,
close to town.
They seem to be a little bit nicer to visitors rather than permanent residents.
They'd rather make a good impression.
I guess they would only have beef with the Sylvans then.
But the best analogy I can think of are those gated communities. They're like, oh, you're just coming through, okay. Versus, oh, you have a house next to mine. Now things are weird.
And they think, and they feel that the Sylvans make things weird to them, right? So they think they feel the Sylvans make things weird for them. They're not on the best of terms with Sylvans.
Yeah, there's a tension there because years and years ago, Sylvans actually were subservient to humans.
Okay.
So we're talking 1960 South.
Basically. All right. So I guess the best route for us to go is actually towards the drag marks into town.
I mean, I pretty much tracked them as far as I can go.
Oh, okay. They kind of
at this point, it's kind of too covered with all the traffic from the morning commute and whatnot.
I mean, we can still try to go into town and see if we can't spot anything.
5 people standing in a circle with hoods.
No, we probably wouldn't see anything like that, but I mean, there might be like small little hints here and there as to where their location may be. Perhaps.
Okay.
Right, what town is this? Is this that same town that we first started off in?
I don't think we would have backtracked that far. That was a ways away.
Oh yeah, no, thinking about it. Good point.
Good.
Yeah, this is just a small town. I don't remember if we ever named the town that you guys were in last or not.
I mean, the
Probably
town
not.
we were in last, I think technically was the Skullduggery one.
Skullduggery.
And that was quite a while ago, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've really been in a town since then.
You've been in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Coliseum, that's over.
Has this been a town that the Blythe and her father have been to before?
It's nothing. It's not a huge town. It's pretty small.
Okay.
It's actually.
It's not a port town, right?
It's more like a village. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a. It's. There's probably. There might be maybe 1,000 people in this town.
Seeing if I had a contact. Well, I'll tell you what. I think it's the best place to always gather information is always that tavern, and every town has a tavern.
Okay.
All right. So if you follow the main road, the tavern surely you will find.
I'll leave the
That's
people
that.
talking to you, Blythe. I'm good with squirrels, not so much with people.
Won't be a problem there, my little friend. It will not be a problem.
I think I'll be aloof in this one as well. I kind of stand out, and I don't think people take too kindly to a giant minotaur in the bar.
Last time you were
what?
in a tavern, you kind of got stuck, right? With your horns.
Yes.
Like puts her fingers up on her head.
Well, there must be something that you could do useful. Why don't you, They were hooded. Maybe they're of the cloth.
Do what?
Part of the
Maybe-
church.
Maybe you should check out the church.
Oh.
For
Okay.
2 reasons. Hopefully they're not of the church, but oftentimes the clergy are sympathetic against people that are striking out.
Mhm.
It's worth a
You can
chance.
try.
Yeah, we can try. Look at the church.
And it shouldn't be too much of an issue. You are going to the church. I would not
Unless
be
they are of the church.
that's the only problem maybe. I am not afraid to go to the tavern alone. Would you like to have her go with you?
I do not mind.
Okay.
And it is a small enough town where the church and the tavern are. Everything's
Across
kind
the
of
street.
within walking distance anyway. Like they're not next to each other, but you can sort of see the steeple of the church from the porch of the temple, from the porch of the tavern.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, be along. Let's say, how about 30 minutes?
Sounds good.
Okay. Are we meeting back up? Like right here, or at the tree, or want us
Why
to
don't
meet
we
you at the
meet-
tavern?
Yeah. Why don't you come back to the tavern and you come on in and let me know when you guys are done.
Okay.
I do need to make this look believable.
Okay.
The
Right,
parliament
good
is
luck.
lit.
It's always a great idea to
rubbing
do.
his hands maniacally.
Hmm?
Our DM is rubbing his hands maniacally.
Wonderful.
Oh, I'm sure that means there's going to be puppies and rainbows at the church.
Oh yes, lovely.
Got to roll on the
There won't be
puppies and
any
rainbows
problems
chart.
in a tavern. There never is.
So if you're both following the road proper, then Blythe, you would reach the tavern first before Shannon Jitters reach the first church of Palor.
Paylor, huh?
The first church of Palo.
Yes, you could see a brass sun emblazoned on this 3-story steeple. It being the tallest building for miles around, as most churches tend to be.
Well, gotta go inside.
I was
Oh, yeah.
checking to see if I made him a religious man, but I did not.
You said what now?
Said I was checking to see if I made Chin a religious man, but I did not.
I
did
have
not
a
give him
0 in
religious-
religion.
I did not give him a religious background.
Well, Paylor's a pretty common one. Paylor's
Yes.
kind of like seeing the cross up there on the wall. You get a general idea of what the denomination is.
I mean, even without giving him a religion, I kind of gave him some of the ideas or concepts of that denomination. The
Yeah,
idea
it's
of spreading goodwill to the people.
and it's pretty common knowledge, like I said.
Hmm. I believe we've already had him do like a prayer or two
Yeah,
in the game. So
that's why I thought he was slightly religious.
I'm sorry.
That's why I thought he was slightly religious. Because he has done a couple prayers.
All right, let's go ahead and write in that he's got a little bit of religion.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's no. I mean, like I said, there's really there's nothing inherently obscure about Paylor. It's pretty common.
Yes, and that would be the one that he would gravitate towards. That would be the one that he would gravitate towards, for sure. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we enter into the church, hopefully without too many difficulties. Chin having to hunch over,
The door to the church and the tavern is wide open, and there seems to be people coming in and out freely.
Okay.
That's,
I'm going to be wandering in your wake. Because I don't want to get stepped on.
Yes. All right.
You can see that there's actually a small what's the right word? Not procession, just a small gathering of people in the church.
I think that is a procession.
Is it not? Mm-hmm.
Like after a session or something, or procession would be before, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Actually, no, I think that would be pre-session. I'm not sure.
But
Sermon?
regardless, it's a small gathering.
All right, so we see like a small gathering.
Gathered parishioners for Paylor, and they are doing what?
Yes. What are they doing? What do we see?
You could see that the head clergy seems to be holding a young man up and at the head of the stage, and he says, "I call upon Paylor to flood you with his light and his righteousness." And the trap door opens in the ceiling, and a beam of light comes down and kind of floods over. And the kid overly dramatically emphasizes that he's being cleansed. He's like shaking and writhing and being theatrical about it.
Hmm.
And then the clergy taps him on the head and says, "I cleanse you in the name of Paylor. Be free of your sins, my child."
Alrighty, so he's cleansing. I'm trying to think of what we can do in the meantime. I guess Chin can just like walk up in front of them and kind of like stare at him until he finishes. Doesn't want to like interrupt him or
Walk up to
anything.
the front of the procession
Yes.
and like knocking over like handles and stuff and
Mhm.
like not quite big enough or not quite small enough to fit through the pews. So
Yeah.
the crowd's kind of parting a little bit.
He's making an awkward scene out of this as he's walking forward. And he's trying not to. He's trying desperately not to make it awkward, but in doing so, he makes it even more awkward.
The kid's
Yeah.
dead,
I'm surprised.
dead quiet.
There's just this gnome, like, trying to stay as close to it as possible. You're like,
As a dozen sets of eyes turn towards you at once.
At one point, he'll actually are they are they sitting like in benches or any furniture around or no?
Yeah, there's rows of seats.
Okay, are they movable?
Of course.
Okay, that's awesome because he'll like as he's walking forward, he'll like bump up against one and it'll screech like as he's moving it forward, like yeah. And it jerks everyone
Maybe
that's
we
like
should've
sitting
just-
down there.
waited by the door.
As Jitter says that, what's Blythe up to at the tavern?
Well, her handler is eating a taco, so just 1 second.
Maybe we should have cut over so quickly.
No, we're good. So Blythe enters and scans the place real quick, like any good pirate would. And any other unsavory types? Looks like my kind of people.
Everybody looks pretty on the up and up. Even though it's a tavern, it's actually nobody seems to be drunk, nobody seems to be violent or fighting. It seems to be kind of a calmer, laid back, almost like the difference between a
Like a
dive
country
bar and a
club.
TGI Fridays.
Yeah. Wonderful. Her kind of place.
Not at all.
Not at all. So she kind of ducks over a little bit, maybe in towards a corner. Actually, no. At every tavern, there's always a place to weapon check. Because they don't want, too much of a problem. So anything that is outward is going to be obviously checked. She does so. She also checks with her rifle because that's one of that's the largest weapon that can be seen. She checks in her hat and her large coat that looks very piratey. And
the owner of the tavern kind of like puts his hand out and he goes, "Hi now, my lady, you don't need to do all that. We don't mind you carry a weapon in here. We all pack in a little bit."
oh, it's not a problem, sir. It's just this one's so large and unsightly. It's I just wouldn't want to give anybody a fright. It is what it is.
Oh, it ain't no thing.
You noticed that, didn't you? You noticed that I tried to switch it up a little bit. It's so it's I'm just here traveling from down south from here. It's just would like to grab some food and maybe a drink.
Well, all right then. Have a seat. Have a seat. You want some biscuits?
What is your specialty?
Biscuits and gravy.
What? A what?
Now I know you ain't from around here.
No. And the accent, her typical very British sounding accent comes back, and no, it's not so much.
Hmm. He just kind of laughs and he goes, "Hey, Erling, Bickets and Gravy," and you could see like a little short woman kind of ducks behind the wall and almost instantly comes out with a steaming plate of food. It almost looks like, I don't know if you've ever seen actual biscuits and gravy, but it's like a big white pile of goo, basically, with little chunks of
Little
meat.
chunks of meat. Yeah. I'm a northerner, but I'm not that northern. Yes, I've had biscuits and gravy before. But yeah, it's she definitely graciously takes it. Presents an entire gold piece. Said this should be good for the day, right?
His eyes go wide and he goes, "To my stars. Woo wait. We got out of town for sure." And he just starts to laugh.
No problems, no problems. I'll tell you what. I'll buy a round for everybody in a bar.
Well, all right then. And when you say that, there's like muted cheer. It's like, yay. Everyone, everyone's a little low energy for some reason, kind of nursing their drinks.
Well, that sounds wonderful. What's your name, Franco?
Oh, they call me Possum.
Like the rodent?
Yeah, 'cause I what play dead when problems come brewing.
I had a guy on my. Oh, it's I had a friend that I once knew because she was about to say on my ship, but she doesn't want to say. She doesn't want to figure that out who she really is. We called him Squirrel because it was very similar reason. That's very funny, sir. Well, that possum. I have a question. Seem to be a quite learned man in this area, and I always find that the tavern owner knows the most out of everybody in the town.
You can see he kind of blushes a little bit, like like you just called him a Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah, and hey, it's okay to be even though you're a possum, doesn't mean that you're not knowing. So, I've heard a bit about this issue with the Sylvan.
And his face instantly kind of falls. And he goes, "Oh no, what happened this time?"
Oh, maybe it hasn't been reported. There was I'm traveling with a few other of my friends, and we came across a woman. She was Sylvan, and she was found next to a blackened tree. The gods I gleaned from that she's kind of well known around here. Her name is Isabella. She says that very quietly. Do you know that name?
The bartender puts his hand down on the coin and slides it back over towards you, and he says, "You might not want to ask them questions around here."
Okay. Very sorry. And she puts her hand on his hand that still has the coin and goes, "Different questions. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you. Very sorry. Here, take this. It's really. I want to make this right. Are you into trick shooting?
Trick
I've never had
shooting?
anybody do that around here.
He just kind of cocks an eyebrow. And then
Is
with
she-
that,
is she-
we cut back to Chen and Jitters with a sea of eyes staring at them.
So, did you say that Chen sat down?
No, I did not actually.
Okay.
Chin is actually like all he did was bump up against one of the benches or whatever, and it leaned forward and it squeaked.
It's terrible noise.
And it made a terrible noise. It deafened the entire church.
Okay.
Everything is just quiet now. And he'll just kind of like he'll scratch his head and go, sorry about that. And then he'll continue making his way as if nothing happened, all the way up to the front.
A couple of large-looking patrons step between you and the deacon.
I hate to disturb you from your procession.
And their hands kind of go to their pistols at their sides.
No need for that. I have no weapons on me. But I have questions that I need answering, and I think you guys are the ones that have the answers.
Jitters is just looking very nervous around at all of the people.
The deacon kind of steps forward, ushers the child back to its seat, and says, "How can I help you two travelers?"
Well, I was going to wait until afterwards, but I seem to have disturbed your session beyond repair. So we have some concerns about recent events on the outskirts of town. We have a little bit of knowledge on who have committed these atrocities, but there are these men or women in cloaks. We're not sure who they are, but we figured if anyone might know their alliances, you might.
Disturbances.
There was a death.
Everybody seems to be accounted for.
It was a Sylvan lady.
It was not a lady of this town. She was from out of town, in a neighboring village. Her species does not matter. We want to get to the bottom of the truth.
What is the nature of her death?
She was bound and dragged before a ashen tree, or a dead tree. Not just the top of the truth, it's the bottom of the truth. Me and my awkward sayings.
Right, it's going as well as it is.
I'm sorry?
I'm surprised it's going as well as it is.
Yeah, the guards kind of take their hands off of their guns, and he pushes his way through them. And he says, "There's been another hate crime, I take it?"
I am not sure. On the surface, it definitely looks like a hate crime, but it may be set up to look like one. There may be something more to it. We don't know.
And what do you want from me?
We want to know if you know anything about these hooded folk.
They stood around the tree in a circle like a ritual type of thing.
Perhaps they are a cult.
Certainly sounds like cultist behavior to me.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to have come from this town based on tracks.
That is disturbing news. He kind of turns to his congregation and he says, I know every single one of these people. I've known them all my whole life. And I know them not to dabble in such things. We are God-fearing people here. We might have some strange beliefs, but something so heinous, it's not something that I can imagine any of us doing.
Well, what kind of strange beliefs?
And he kind of turns and he says, well, we don't particularly look kindly upon those of a different race.
Oh.
I thought Paylor was
We feel that there
accepting
is
of all races.
we feel that there is more safety in similar kind being together.
And yet you think that there is no possibility that someone might take this too far. This idea. I'm sorry.
We don't hurt people. We don't kill people.
Well, if you, as you say, you don't take kindly to members of other races, then perhaps some fanatical members within your establishment might take action behind your back. You never know.
Would anybody consider the Sylvan to not be people?
To not be what?
Be people.
Be people.
He's specifically saying we don't hurt people. It's like, well,
Yeah,
are there people that don't consider Sylvan people?
they might consider them less than themselves.
I suppose it's possible that such beliefs exist. But I assure you I don't teach such things to my people.
We're not saying you do. But people can make up their own ideas.
Chen will kind of turn around as we're talking to the clergyman here, and he'll kind of scan the crowd for their expressions. Does he notice anyone? I should actually roll for this.
Yeah, that should be a roll for sure.
Yes. Let's see. Should it be perception, investigation?
Insight.
Whichever one. I mean, it's really pretty much the same thing.
I wouldn't make an insight check since I'm not actually trying to decipher whether people are being truthful in their expressions or not. I'm trying to see if there's any
Well,
expressions
insight
that
can
are
still be
different.
measuring expressions and things as well.
I guess I could argue that it'd be insight, but either way, it's going to be the same number. I rolled a 10 on perception.
Okay. What do you add to it?
Oh, I rolled an 8 and I added 2, so I have a 10 total.
Okay.
So I'm basically scanning the crowd and seeing if there's anyone that has any noticeable changes in their expression as we're talking.
I rolled an 8 insight on the preacher guy. I'm assuming I don't really get much.
Yeah, most of the crowd is pretty much reacting as you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of surprise that this is happening. there's only one person who's kind of stone-faced about the whole thing the whole time.
Okay, I'll take a note of him. Try to capture his features and remember them for later.
Yeah, it's an older man with graying hair. He's got looks like he might be blind in one eye.
Oh.
But other than that, it's hard to glean much of anything. Everyone seems to be almost like a facade or a poker face.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll turn to Jitters and I'll lean down to her and kind of try to whisper to her. Yeah, I know, right? Chin leaning down to the shortest member of her group. Yes.
Like laying down on the floor.
Almost, basically. He'll try to whisper her, to her loudly enough for her to hear. I think it is time for us to go. I think we've gotten all that we can out of this man. I don't think he knows anything more.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
But thank you for your time, he says as he turns back to the clergyman.
And as he goes to thank you, suddenly outside you hear the sounds of shots ringing out.
No, no.
Uh-oh. And that's right when we turn back to Blythe, right?
Yes, as the camera pans up and we see 7 destroyed bottles on a fence post, and Blythe's blowing off the smoke from her gun. Possum, his jaw physically dropping.
All right, so I have one last trick, okay? And is it just she and Possum, or is there a crowd?
Probably the whole bar. If you were talking about trick shooting, then they'd probably, especially the first shot, they would all kind of come out and see what was going on.
Right. And she's gonna lean down to Possum, who is probably the closest to her because he's purveying the whole thing pretty much. She leans down and says, "If I can do this next thing, I would like maybe in a few minutes to have to talk to somebody that can give me the information that I can give. This next thing is very hard."
They're
You're a
trying
man
to
of time.
find some time with somebody. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Somebody that will know the info. He's already he knows what I'm asking about. You know what I mean? So he that would have that type of information. Is that a deal? And then if not, if I miss, you get another gold piece.
All right, then. Are you gonna try and roll for it?
Yeah. I'm gonna roll for it. And what she goes, all right, everybody, this is my last trick. As you saw, I shot all 7 of those last bottles with one shot. That was pretty interesting, wasn't it? But this one is the hardest yet. It is my hardest trick. And can't believe I'm even showing it to y'all, but this is how it's going to be. And she pulls out a copper piece from her pouch. I'm gonna throw it in the air, and she flicks it up into the air just once, and catches it. And I'll shoot directly through the center of the copper piece. Think I can do it?
Jitter cheers, because I'm assuming we get there.
Yeah.
Now, Jitter, you've seen her do this. This is not new to me.
if you're cutting forward to where Jitters is already going to be there, there is something that Chin's going to say to her, like as they're exiting the church before she gets there.
Go ahead.
You want me to go ahead and say it right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. But when we exit the church, Chin is going to say to her, I don't know for certain, but I think I spotted someone who might or might not know something. And they're probably getting ready to cut out for the day, and I don't want to lose track of them. So I'm gonna stick around here and wait it out. If he comes out, and follow him. I would like you to convey this message to Blythe for me.
Okay, just be careful. You're not really the stealthiest person.
No, I'm not.
Okay, I'll have her come help too. Assuming she's not in a shootout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not gonna be a problem. All right. So it cuts back over to Blythe, and she goes, "All right. So are we ready?"
Woo!
And the crowd give her a cheer. Yeah. All right. All right. So this is what it's going to be. Now she turns her back, so her back is to the sun, so she doesn't get the sun in her eyes. First off, and she goes, "All right, everybody, give me some good room." And she makes it so that the crowd kind of horseshoes around her from behind her. And she goes, "All right, well, this is gonna be it. I'm going to flick it into the air, and I promise to you, I will shoot it through the center. And here we go." So you want me to just make it a regular attack roll?
Sure.
All right. That's really good, dude. 17 plus 9. It's 26.
Oh, jeez. At the last second, you actually add another coin in.
Okay.
And you were originally going to shoot twice, but they actually lined up in such a way that you were able to hit through both of them with one bullet.
That's so cool!
And as they come down, I catch them in my hand. And I go, look, 2 for the price of 1 again.
Jitters.
And she bows. And there's two children, there. One of which is just Jitters. And she goes, "Oh, here we go. I always give my prizes to the youngest." And there's a little boy there, and she hands the 1 coin to him and goes, "Remember this day. Shooting is fantastic, little one. You want to practice as much as you can and listen to your parents, okay?" She pats him on the head. He runs off all excited. "Mommy, Daddy, look what I got!"
Mama, give me my gun, Mommy.
And then the other one, is Jitters. She goes over past her head. "So what'd you guys find out?"
I feel like I should be insulted by this.
"Well, you look like a child. Come on, just play along."
Chen thinks he saw somebody that might know something, and he's going to try and stake him out. But he's Chen.
Terrible idea. Well, I just want to bet with the bar owner that he said he will be able to get us in touch with somebody that might have information. So,
I'll go back to Chen.
little girl. Hey, you have fun and you enjoy the coin. Go find your parents.
And I will run back toward the church because I'm kind of worried about Chen.
Yeah, that's fine. So we both kind of know what's going on, and there we go. She walks back over to good old Possum and goes, "I did quite good. I held up my end of the deal. Now you need to hold up yours, please."
And he kind of leans forward, and he goes, or he kind of leans in forward, and he goes, "All right, I think we gotta make this a couple deliveries, sir." And he kind of like guides you back into his tavern.
Mm-hmm.
And he brings you back behind the bar, and he opens up a chest and pulls out a dusty set of bottles. He says, "I've been saving these here for a special occasion." And he kind of blows them off. You can see that they're old, very old wine bottles from a very good vintage in a year. He says, "I want you to pay attention to who I give these out to." And
Absolutely.
He says, "I think they might be who you're looking for."
And she taps on his shoulder a couple times. Possum, there's no reason for you to hide any longer, my friend.
Once a possum, always a possum, sir, ma'am.
All right. Well, you go ahead.
And he says, he kind of saunters it forward into the bar. One sec. Oh, that was a weird bit of indigestion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Girl's dying.
I died.
I done died. On the way.
Burp get caught in your throat. That's what.
Oh, it's the
We
worst.
killed the possum life.
Possum dies on the way over.
He steps forward, and you can see him kind of slide give the wine bottle to one of his patrons. He says, "Here you go, Seamus, for all your years of patronage, sir. This one's on the house." And then the guy he hands it to kind of looks up on the roof and says, "On the house? But you're handing it to me. Never you know mine, Seamus." He says, "Hey, Miss Blythe, I do believe I require your assistance to deliver the rest of these here bottles, if you don't mind."
Not at all, Seamus.
As they say, a bottle of wine is best paired with a beautiful lady, I should say.
You don't have to be so flattering.
And
she walks with him. She walks with him.
He kind of makes his way around the town. He kind of goes to various people's houses and hands them out. You can see that a lot of the people he's handing them to are kind of older age. And most of them are graying hair and a little bit longer for the world. And he gets to about the fourth one, and he says, This here's the last one I know, and he ain't home."
Is he God-fearing, this man? Is he a purveyor of the church?
All of them is, really.
All right.
They just like to pervert the words in the tomes there, sir.
Well, good folk do, don't they? So For your trouble here, Possum, I'm going to give you that gold piece I spoke of. So that means you made 2 gold today. And don't forget me. I'm going to pay a visit to these people. You go ahead, take care of your bar.
They should be pretty easy going after drinking this stuff.
That's what I wanted to hear. What was this last man's name?
Mademoiselle, he says, and he kind of like gives you a little half bow. I thank you kindly, and I appreciate you not saying where you got your information from.
I never would. You have yourself a great day there, Possum. What's the name your parents gave you? Because I know it wasn't Possum. I heard one of the patrons call you Wilbur. Is that correct?
He kind of blushes a little bit and he goes, "Yeah, that's what my parents called me."
Well, Wilbur, it was great to make your acquaintance. It really was. Maybe I'll check in before I leave town.
Well,
And she
God.
pats him on the head a couple of times and gives him a little kiss on his cheek, and says, "Be along."
He clutches his hat and it's against his chest. He goes, "My stars." Meanwhile, meanwhile, Jitters and Chen are trying to follow the.
Well, technically, we don't know if the set procession has ended yet or not. If people are all coming out, basically.
I mean, if the guy seems like he's going to leave, Jitters is going to suggest that she follow him and Chen stay there because she's a little bit better at stealth.
Yeah.
If he actually is left, I mean, we're staking out the outside of the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does eventually leave. I would imagine.
Okay, as soon as he exits out of the church, Chin will look back at Jitters because he notices that she's returned, and he'll point at the man and go, I believe he might have some connections.
Okay, I'm gonna follow him and see where he goes.
Okay, and I'm assuming we've already conveyed that. Or can you converse back and forth with one another? The idea that she's going to be the one to follow after him.
Yeah, because you're a big motherfucker and you can't.
I'm wondering what Chin can do as she's doing this.
Be friendly.
Be friendly. Be friendly. Be the friendly giant minotaur just standing outside and waving to everyone exiting the church. That's what he can do.
So Jitter's got a whole 10 on her stealth check.
Yeah. So you start to follow him, right?
Uh-huh.
You're kind of trailing several lengths behind him, I would imagine.
Yeah, and trying to use my shortness to my advantage while still keeping an eye on him.
And he kind of looks over his shoulder and then cuts around the corner of a building.
This is going to end so poorly. Yeah, she still tries to go after him. She thinks she's the good.
You said you were going to try and go after him?
Yeah.
All right. You round the corner and you see a a black hooded figure running away from you. Or
Oh gosh.
you see him run, like he's kind of running, and he puts the hood over himself.
Ah. I think my speed's only like 25, I think, right? Because I'm got little gnome legs.
Yeah, he's definitely a little faster than you.
Where's Miss Sealy been this whole time, by the way?
Probably
Was
hanging about outside of town.
Well, did the dragon guy insist on keeping her with him while we went off on our little side quest?
Sense.
Huh?
If she's collateral, that kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure she would have been drawing a lot of attention.
Wildpaw is also going to be with her, just for reference.
Helpful protection, whatever. Then yeah, she's going to attempt to go after him. Probably giving up on stealthing, so she can attempt to. This is going to end so badly. So yeah, she's going to attempt to run after him.
He runs. He goes around the corner. You go around the corner, and when you do, you can see in a clearing another black hood, or you could see that he's like 100 feet forward. From where you are, running down.
How is he that much faster? Jesus. Does it look like he's going any particular place, or at the moment he's probably just running for it?
He's in a clearing, basically, like heading towards the woods.
Oh, okay. So we're already outside of town.
It's a small town.
Can I don't want to shoot at him or anything. That sounds dumb. Can I go ahead and try and follow him? And then once I'm in the tree line, try and stealth again and see if I can find tracks?
Okay. How would you like to follow him?
Huh?
How would you like to follow him?
Well, at first I'm just gonna kind of like try and bolt across the clearing.
Okay.
And assuming I get to the woods, then I'd try and stealth and then look for tracks instead of trying to actually keep him in line of sight.
It's okay. So you bolt to the woods. And just as you're about to start tracking, you look back at the town and you see the hooded figure in the town.
That's awesome.
I gotta check for tracks anyway, just to make sure.
The tracks
because it could be multiple. We know there was like 5, so.
Yes, the tracks seem to be heading out of town.
Huh?
The tracks seem to be heading out of town.
Okay, so there was tracks.
Yes.
There's tracks in the woods where I'm at?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's gonna try and follow the tracks a little bit, stealth. They're not gonna know where the heck she went. Okay, this is great. Super smart. Alright, that's
a dexterity save.
A dex save?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got, if it matters, I got a 19 on my stealth. Where's my save? Dex save. Saving. Wow, okay. Oh. 7. I rolled a 2.
Oh, no. So you're crouched down, following these tracks real stealthily, like kind of low to the ground.
Uh-huh.
And you walk, or you kind of scoot past this tree, and then this figure in a black hood, a black cloak, kind of comes up behind you and grabs you.
Shit.
Fuck. We don't even know. We don't even know.
Can I attempt to break free? I'm assuming there's like a grapple going on, right?
Yeah, it's a grapple.
Okay, so is that a strength check to break out of?
Strength or dex?
Let's go with dex.
Yeah.
Is it the straight skill, or would it be like acrobatics or athletics?
I think it's just straight dex.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think athletics or acrobatics counts towards grapple checks.
Okay. That's gonna be a whole 9. I rolled a 6. My dice are not liking me today.
You're
Stop
trying
rolling
to,
so high.
squirm out from under him, and he physically just picks you up.
I'm gonna start like kicking and screaming my head off. Not that anybody's gonna be able to hear me, but
Yeah, he puts a cloth hand over your mouth.
do I have any spells I can use? I should have freaking hunters marked him. I'm an idiot. That lasts for 24 hours now. Oh, I'm smart. Okay. Go, Jitters. You're trying to be brave. What spells do I have? I don't think I have anything that'll help me.
It's at this moment that I wonder if Jitters thought of a way to lead Shin and Blythe to come after her when they discover she won't return.
I mean, I rolled low enough that you probably saw me go after him, but
Yeah, I would imagine, Chen, you probably saw her bolting after him.
like after the
Non-stealth
corner,
like.
you probably didn't see me anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got nothing. I should have freaking hunters marked him. I'm an idiot. Okay. I mean, I could attempt to break the grapple again, but I'm assuming it'd be like at disadvantage, and I don't even have feet on the ground. Or I could kick him. Try and kick him in the groin.
Yeah, sure, you could try.
Oh, so what would that be?
We'll call it an unarmed strike.
Do I add my strength to that? Is that what that is?
Strength or dex. Because it's basically like the same thing as a punch.
Okay, we'll still go with dex. Mildly better, but that's a 12.
He's not really wearing armor, so it probably does hit.
Woohoo! It's enough to make him let me go. Do I actually hit him in the gonads?
Let's see.
Can my
You
tiny
do.
little gnome legs be good for something?
You hit him right in the good berries.
Yes!
And he goes, oh! And he lets go, and you fall about 3 feet.
I'm gonna try to take off back toward the... Actually, would that be better, or should I try and stealth? Because I have tiny little gnome legs. I'm gonna try and hide. I'm gonna take off and try and hide in the trees.
Okay.
Go Jitters.
Go, Jitters, go!
17.
Yeah, he's too busy being doubled over to even pay attention to which way you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna hide and try and watch him, and once he leaves, head back toward town, or once he goes far enough away.
Yeah, you hear him just kind of swearing and muttering under his breath and staggering back into town.
Does he leave the hood up?
He gets to the clearing and he kind of disrobes the cloak and stuffs it back into his clothes.
Was it the old guy from the church?
It doesn't look like it.
Okay, I gotta try and take like a mental picture of what he looks like. And then once he seems a safe distance away, I'm gonna head back into town and try and
Yeah,
put my own little hood up and try and go back to the church.
Who doesn't have any hair, like they're bald.
Huh? He's a bald guy?
Hmm.
Okay.
Probably a few tattoos as well.
So that was probably a good 10, 15 minutes, probably, of me chasing him and then getting caught and then hiding.
Yep.
And then getting back.
So Chad, what have
So
you
I finally
been
get
doing
back
this
to
whole
Chad.
time?
Yeah, you get back to Chan, and Chan's like, "What happened?"
I almost got caught. He ran out. He ended up knowing I was following him, but it ended up being a different guy. And I chased him into the woods, and then he grabbed me, and I managed to kick him in the gonads. And he dropped me, and I hid, and he went back, and he took his hood off, and it was some bald guy. And then I snuck back here. But at least one of them knows what I look like. Maybe two.
Ah, shit.
We should probably go find Blythe, huh?
Yeah. All right. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. It's a shame that they caught you.
Yeah, I don't think I was as good at stealthing as I thought I was.
All right. All right. Well, we'll reconvene with Blythe, and we'll try to figure out what our next plan of attack is going to be.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the half hour's up anyway.
Yes. Let's go. All right. So,
Yeah, it's getting to be kind of early evening.
oh, so it's been more than 30 minutes.
Oh yeah. I mean, we touched base with her when I ran back, but
Blythe is probably just like waiting outside, just like, where the fuck are they?
Yeah, and he took me to 5 people, didn't he?
4 people. He didn't know who the 5th person was.
Well, he tried to take me to 5 people.
Right.
Okay. When the hell have you guys been?
I have been staring. I've been standing outside a church, waving my hand.
we should go somewhere slightly more private.
Probably a good idea.
Give me a
Do
moment.
we have?
And she walks back inside and goes up to the bar. Possum.
Yes.
Do you have rooms?
I was actually about to suggest that.
Are you propositioning me? Because the answer is
How many
yes.
teeth? How many teeth does Possum have?
You say what now?
After that remark, duh.
How many teeth does Possum have?
How many what?
How
How many teeth does he have?
How many teeth does he have?
Probably not very many.
Oh shit! if he had a full mouth of teeth, I might have flirted with him, but he's a little too redneck for me.
You already flirted with him, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, well, not right now, Possum. It's just I need to talk with my cohorts. I need to find someplace kind of private. Can you make that happen for me?
Does he know what cohorts means?
I don't care if he knows or not.
Does he think we're starting a brothel?
So wait, you and your cohorts are gonna set up in my tavern?
No, oh shit.
It's gonna be
Me and my friends.
Orgy things.
No, there's no orgies. Orgies? What the hell's an orgy? Wait, do you mean orgy?
More people involved than what you could count on one hand. You know, 1, 3, 7, H.
Hey, 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 hey! Before you hurt yourself. Oh, my. All right. Well, this is what's gonna happen here. I'm gonna set another piece of gold on the table, and you're going to. Do you have? I just need a quiet place to have a conversation with a couple of my friends.
Why, sure thing, Miss Blythe. And he kind of winks.
Yeah.
You just let me know if your cohorts need a little bit of business. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It's,
I can't wait to see his face when he comes in with a gnome and a minotaur.
how big is the doorway?
Ooh. It's gonna be a little
General
tricky.
crawling in, like squeezing in.
Hey! Another question. Do you have like a place you load your goods in, with like a big door, like a big barn door on it? I know a lot of taverns have that.
It's a little bit bigger, yeah.
Could we meet maybe back in there? Would that be fine? It would be quiet, right? Right now.
That wouldn't be too bad.
All right. Well, Possum, you're the best, my friend. And if you could just kind of crack that door open a bit, we'll kind of walk around and then we'll be in there. If you'd like to be my friends, you can stick around. I promise. They're not the cohorts that you think.
Sure they ain't. I'm sure.
All right. Well, okay. So just again, just crack that door open, and we'll be around in a moment.
He's gonna be in there naked.
Out. Yeah, she walks out and goes, "All right, it's I've secured an area that actually the door is, I think, big enough for you to fit through there, Chen. We're gonna kind of meet in his storage area, I believe. It should be quiet, and I didn't want to make a big scene. You are kind of hard to hide.
As the door opens.
Oh yes,
Miss Blythe,
yay!
the door's open for you.
Wow, that was.
Cohorts can come on in now.
What are cohorts?
I don't know. I said cohorts to him, and he thought I was talking about ladies of the night, I believe. I don't know. And I walk in, and does he have clothes on?
Let's say what?
Does he have clothes on, or does he not?
He's starting to take his clothes off.
Hey. No, as I told you.
We should just send Shannon.
As I told you.
He's starting to take his clothes off, and then he sees Chen. Oh.
I told you.
Going for a swim.
Yeah. Hey, you were saying that you had a little something in your shirt there, right? That's what it was. You shake it out like I suggested, and then everything should be okay. Don't play around in the dirt again.
I'm just gonna go take a cold bath.
Yeah, and that'd be a bad idea, my friend. But hey,
Jitters is giggling maniacally in the corner.
This is my friend Jitters and Chen. Be well, there, Possum. You made more here today than I think you probably made all week, just off me. Is that correct?
Probably in a year.
Shoot. Yeah, I'm pretty well set for a while.
All right. Well, again, don't forget me. If we come back to this town again, I think I've made a friend. Is that correct?
Oh, sure.
All right.
Sure.
Well,
like you can tell he's a little bit, he's a little embarrassed, like he's totally misread the situation.
Yeah, because he did.
At least he knows he did.
All right. Well, good day. And then once the door closes to the inside of the place, I have Chen close the door, and so it's not total darkness. I'm assuming that he has a lantern or something like that inside here. I strike that up and I go, okay. So here's what I found out. He 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 gave 5 very nice bottles of wine, which I wish I would have kept one for myself, but to 5 different older people in the town. One of which, well, 4 actually, because one of which wasn't there. Um, he said that they're all God-fearing people, and that it is possible that they maybe could be at the church. What did you guys find out?
Well, and she's like kind of looking at her feet and like tapping her 2 fingers together, kind of embarrassed. Well, I tried to follow the guy that we saw in the church, and he kind of spotted me and put up a hood and ran off. And I tried to chase him, and he went across the field into the woods, and I went after him. And then there was another guy in a hood back by the town line, but there were still tracks, so I followed the tracks. And another guy in a hood grabbed me, and I managed to kick him in the gonads, and he dropped me, and I hid. And he went back into town, and when he took his hood off, it was the bald guy, so it was a different guy from the church. And then I snuck back and found Chen.
Oh no! and you were Miss America, Chen.
I'm sorry.
And you were standing like Miss America. Is that correct?
Where's
Stand
America?
there and wave. What I did. I was apparently too big and hulky to go sneaking around in the backwoods after some cult doing who knows what.
Well,
We've been in this town too long. I'm already starting to sound like a Southern. God damn.
Great.
I mean, to be fair, at this point, you probably would have done about as good a job as me.
Well, I guess the best idea now is to we could go and I seem to be a bit popular in this town after the display I put on. So, why don't we just do this? I'll make visits to the ones that he gave the bottles to, and you could come with me. If any of them are these bald men, at least we will know that we're on the right track.
Okay. Where's the guy with the guy that Chen saw? That I tried to follow.
I don't know. Well, here, the first one I think is in the bar. So why don't we make our way back in? Sorry, Chen. Just, those doorways are quite small. I'm sorry, buddy. Just go out and sit in the front, and we'll be out in a moment.
I'll go in the porch then and smile and wave at all the passerbys because that's all I do.
Oh,
Oh, buddy, you're the one that chose to be the Minotaur.
we have the opposite problems. I'm too small and you're too big. We just need to like split it in half and make it even, and then we'll be perfect.
That very well could be it. All right, so me and Jitters go back into the bar. We go over to where that gentleman, Seamus? Is that what you said his name was? Is he still in the bar?
You're talking about the one that he gave the bottle to?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's nursing that thing pretty heavily.
Seamus, isn't that correct? Is that your name?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, my friend. It's So, the question I have for you is just one. The good old possum over there. He gave a bottle to for yourself and a few others. Why would you have given a bottle to 5 people in the town? And they all seem to be older folk. You're the town elders.
Ain't you read the Book of Paylor? Respect your elders and all that.
That's what I like to hear. And well, you're having a good time there. Enjoy that bottle. It was lovely talking to you, Seamus. Hey, before I go, who's the actual town leader?
You mean the mayor?
Sure. They call them different things in different towns, so yeah, the mayor.
That's the one who runs the town. He lives in the big house. And he runs the town because he's the mayor.
Okay, yeah, that's correct, Seamus. Thank you very much. Enjoy your bottle. You have a good day. I scurry off as I'm assuming he face plants out of the table.
Maybe we should have gone with the cohorse thing.
Yeah, maybe we should have went with the cool horse thing. I don't know, but that gave the wrong impression to the owner of the bar. Yeah, we don't want to be. You don't want to be a whore, and I don't, do you?
We don't have to actually be it, but maybe he would have talked to us more.
Yeah, I don't. Old ball's weird.
Well, no,
and
just make him think we're interested, and then he talks to us, and then we get whatever information, and then he passes out and thinks we had fun.
Did you notice? I think as we look back over his shoulder, good old Seamus has passed out already, hasn't he? Because he looked pretty damn close.
In one hand, and he's like asleep, and it's just pouring out.
Oh, wait, he runs over and grabs the bottle and goes, oh! And sits it on the table.
And one of the other bar patrons is like sliding underneath to try and get the drip.
Alright, and we make our way back up front, because Seamus is going to be not useful to us at all, and go, hey, Chen, yeah, so we found out where the mayor's house is, which is good. So we can probably go over to where that is.
We're going to the mayor's house now.
There. Well, yeah.
Was that one of the houses you dropped off a wine bottle to?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Oh,
okay.
So we found out from the guy in there. I think his name was Seamus, I believe. And he said that all 5 of the people that we probably dropped the bottles off to are the town elders. And said that we should read the Book of Paylor, whatever. Never was very interesting to me. So why don't we make our way over there? And let's see if you find your old man you were looking for.
Oh, we're looking. Okay, we're gonna see if he's one of the elders of the village. Is that what we're doing?
Well, from what I gleaned from all the backwoods people here, the oldest people in the town, which that man we just talked to was quite old. You said the man that you saw was quite old. The man that tried to grab Jitters was bald, which also tends to mean you're quite old. I think that the older generation here is just trying to drive. They're trying to just human
assholes.
Yeah, but it just seems as if they're just trying to whitewash almost this area.
Purest assholes.
It's unfortunately, within every group, there's always a group of assholes.
Yeah.
My father was the biggest asshole on my ship.
Well.
And you know him now, and he's not that man anymore, is he?
I didn't know him before, but
Well, I'm telling you, he was the biggest asshole on the ship.
okay.
And he. This is it. We should probably go and talk to the mayor and tell him being the mayor and being a man that should be standing up for justice of what we may have figured out. And not to intimidate him, not to do anything like that, but to, I don't know.
Won't these kind of people
Drop.
just be like you outsiders don't have any business telling me how to run my town.
That's exactly what I was just thinking, that little one.
Is she like doing a face and waving a finger and stuff?
Or
Yeah.
worse, or worse yet, he could be our perpetrator.
It is a possibility that one of the outcomes is that we don't get to figure out anything here.
Yeah, that's true.
It's easier when we can just shoot people
right-
with arrows.
Right now, we're pretty much at a dead end. Right.
It's still daytime?
I think so.
It's beginning to become evening.
Hey, okay.
Right.
So it's
I would
getting
like
darker.
to go back to where that tree was. How far away is that really? In time distance.
From the tree or from the
Yeah.
town?
Yeah.
It would probably be almost nighttime by the.
Ugh. Yeah, it's not gonna help us. Alright, well, we should probably go talk to the mayor. At least. Maybe he's just.
Okay.
And if not, I'll shoot him in his head. I don't have a problem with it. I'm a fucking pirate.
I don't think that would make the rest of the people in the town very happy.
If he's innocent, Shen would definitely not be approving of that decision.
Yeah, certainly. Alright, well, so we head towards the mayor's house.
All right, it's kind of hard to miss. It's a pretty big house, all things told. It's got an extra story on it, therefore it's the second biggest building in the town.
Besides the church, right?
And the paint is only a couple of years old versus everything else, which is almost bare through to the wood.
Ugh. Good old backwoods town. Alright, I'm assuming there's a gate in front of this house even too, huh?
No, it's not. It's not that fancy.
Alright.
It's just a kind of like a.
Is this one of the houses that
What's that?
is this one of the houses that me and Possum dropped off bottles to?
It is not.
It is not. Okay. Well, that's a good sign. Actually, so now, this is actually not one of the homes that me and Possum frequented. Maybe he's not a part of all this. We should definitely go in. I'll go up and knock on the door.
And after a minute, the door kind of is open, and you see an older bald man approach the door.
Wait.
Is it the bald man that caught me?
It's kind of hard to tell, but he does have a little bit of a lope when he walks.
Lump.
I'm going to like duck behind Blythe's coat while kind of giving it a quick tug.
All right. Good evening, sir. Are you the mayor?
Do believe I am.
Oh, well, it's pleased to meet you. My name is Blythimus. And I slurred that on purpose, so that he didn't really get my last name. And I was a trick shooter earlier today. You saw that, did you?
Don't think I did actually.
Oh, that's too bad. It was a pretty good showing. And we're just here. What is that on your head?
On my head?
Oh wait, no, he was limping. Is that what you're saying? Right? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are you well?
Yeah, not too bad. Out
Hmm.
of towners need something?
Well, we're just we're kind of passing on through, and we saw something very concerning within the area of your town. We're over coming from the west, whatever, and we came across some of your town guard, and a scene. I'm sure you may have heard of it today. It was a blackened tree with a woman that has perished. Have you heard of this issue?
Yes, that investigation is ongoing. I sent them out there, make sure that it got documented, so that we
Is
could.
it is that concerning to you?
What the actions of some fellow Sylvan against Sylvan doesn't bother me
Oh
none.
my god.
You believe it was Sylvan against Sylvan? Okay, well that would explain a lot.
It's something they're kind of like to do from time to time. Some
Is
kind
it?
of dark ritual or something.
Is it? Stop that computer. Um, is is it Sylvan Isabella? That was her, wasn't it?
I suppose I don't know.
Well, from the city guard, they
They all
told
look
me
pretty
that.
much alike to me, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh, you're an asshole for saying that. Sorry, go ahead. Fantastic.
Jitter's just getting more and more in favor of the shooting him in the head idea.
But all right. Well, it's really unsettling, sir, to hear that. Have you ever seen this young lady before? And she kind of pulls back her coat a bit to reveal the jitters.
Jitter's just gonna run up and like try and punch him in the gonads.
All right.
Hell's bells!
Hold on, I have to pull up a dice roller because I've changed rooms and my cat's comfortable.
Yeah, that's awesome. Little one getting crazy after this piece.
Fuck you, dude.
Hmm?
Alright,
Say what?
what the heck is this? Alright, this is a stupid dice roller. I don't like it. Hold on.
Can we just roll for you?
I mean, that would be faster.
Sure.
All right, just a D20.
Yeah, D20.
Did you already roll?
No, yeah. Oh no, I haven't. Go ahead.
Okay. Oh fuck! You don't want my roll.
Then you did it.
I rolled a 2.
I added 3 to that with Dex.
What are you trying to do
Yay!
again?
What were you trying to do there, little one?
I was attempting to punch him in the dick.
No. You your hand finds purchase on a small iron skillet that he's put down there to prevent that from happening again.
Swing! Oh,
She like curses and shakes out her hands like, well, at least we know you're the same idiot.
Well, you know what they say, fool me once. Shame on. You're not gonna fool me again.
yeah.
You're murdering dickhead.
Yeah. Blythe very quickly just pushes the door open as hard as she can, and we kind of rush in the same motion. Good old CHP comes out and is aimed directly at him.
Oh, now what's all this anyway?
Well, my friend, what it is that I believe that you're responsible for this. And you tried to take my little friend here, and she showed you what gnomes may be like when they're taken. And then she clicks it and goes, what or who are the black hooded folk? Is it you and your elders that are trying to eliminate a race of people? Is that correct?
Only the ones that cause trouble.
Maybe you're the ones that are causing trouble. Have you ever thought about that?
Do you see how peaceful this here town is? You know what it was like when the Sylvan was still in? All this dark
enlighten me, sir.
Crime, murder.
And it was always a Sylvan.
He just kind of ignores that prompting.
Was it always the Sylvan? And the gun gets a bit closer to his head.
I'm just saying, the way things are now, it's better. And we don't need going back to the way it was.
I'm not saying to go back to the way it was. What I'm saying is that you can't just be going on and trying to kill people whenever you'd like. Because sometimes people like me, a pirate, somebody that doesn't really give a shit about any of you, might come in here and just kill the mayor. That type of thing could happen, and it could happen very quickly right now. You don't look like you have an iron pan over your head.
A peace bought with blood is no peace at all.
My large friend, he's got a much different way of words than I.
And he'll actually he'll crunch his knuckles or crack his knuckles.
Scissors is gonna hunter mark him.
Does that look like anything, or is that just literally you can track him better now?
Oh, it's a mystical thing, so I think he might be able to tell that I did it. So I don't know.
No, they can't tell.
Hold on, let me go get my sheet.
No, they can't tell. They can't tell any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Nice.
She's gonna make a show of it, like make a finger gun or something.
Nice.
Let's see.
Well, this is what it's gonna be here, sir. This part of the land is all governed by Elvenshire, isn't it? I just made that up.
He just kind of says, we don't much have a lord per se. We are an entity unto ourselves.
Well, we're going to go over to here tomorrow, and we're going to talk with the Sylvan, and I'm going to let them know what happened here. And it will
We're going to start a race.
I'm not starting a war, but I'm telling you that they're going to know what happened, and that if need be, they may have to retaliate. But I'm not going to tell them that
You're the
you've
one that
agreed.
started a race war.
Exactly.
Yes, we would not have started anything. You would have started something.
That's correct, sir. And I'm just going to give them the information that is necessary for them to have the correct information. Now,
You would let
I'm going to tell them that you have agreed to not hunt them any longer. But if they do, I guess it'll be open season, won't it? And when we pass that Sylvan Village, it looks like they're about 3-1 to you, aren't they?
So you would have our people killed and eradicated by these.
Asshole ones.
You really think the Sylvan are going to know the difference?
Well,
You
They're
think
not
that
going to
we can give
descend
them names
upon here
now.
like a plague and kill every last one of us?
We can give them names now.
I
Giving them too much
don't
credit.
see that. So you don't seem to understand. I don't see that you young people share your same goals. I see that you younger folk seem to be carefree and having fun and enjoy a good time. I think it's your older folk that are pushing this hate. And it's just not right, sir.
Children don't understand the way things are. The way things have
Older
always
people
been.
are out of touch with reality.
Reality, huh? You don't think they haven't done these things to us as well? They haven't murdered humans for being human?
You
I.
haven't kept them as
think it was
slaves
just-
for years?
It's not our place to say one way or the other of that, but the more you propagate it, the more it happens back and forth, and then it doesn't matter who started it. It only matters who ends it.
And that's going to be us today who ends it. I'm going to tomorrow, again, talk with the Sylvan, and we're going to have a meeting between the elders of this town and the elders of the Sylvan village. And together, we will make peace. Do you think you're interested in that? She hasn't moved her gun yet.
I don't think this is going to end very well for me now, is it?
No.
Well, I would suggest you take our advice. Or I could just finish this evening.
If that's what you want, then you might
No,
as
that's
well
not what I
shoot me
want.
now.
That's not what I want, old man. What I want is to see peace.
And he steps forward and puts his hand on the barrel of the gun. Judge,
She looks
jury, and executioner. Better get on with it. Either I die at their hand or I die at yours.
And she reaches back and she butts him as hard as she can with the gun to knock him out.
Hmm.
She doesn't shoot him.
It's so easy to shoot him ourselves, to kill him ourselves, but
Yeah.
it's best if we let the Sylvans know.
I think we should round up all the ones that we know are involved and give them to the guard that seem to actually care. And if they don't do anything about it themselves, we should go to the Sylvans.
I don't think that's a bad idea. The jitters.
Do you think their allegiance would be swayed to our side, or do you think they would be
That's why we
forced?
go to the Sylvans if they don't do something with them.
I don't,
You
They
wanna
said
know who
they
the-
wanted to know if we found out anything.
I don't think
Right.
they'd be able to.
We round up the people that we know are involved and turn them in.
Do you want to know who they're going to be allegiant to? It's Possum.
Okay.
Do you want to know why? Because he's the he's a tavern owner. The tavern owner always has much more power than one thinks. He may not be the smartest man in his village, but I'm sure he's well respected. And I've got him kind of wrapped around this little pinky right here.
Coerce.
The horrors and
All right then. Sounds like we've got a plan.
So, can we just enact that and not have to do all that?
Yeah.
Especially since most of them are probably
It seems
like
more
passed
like
out
an
drunk by now.
It seems like more of an aftermath
It would
thing.
just be a montage of you guys
Yeah.
like locking people up and getting it all set up.
Yeah. Now, okay. Was there somebody in that fifth home that wasn't there before?
What's that?
In that
Somebody
fifth
in the
home
fifth-
that. Yeah.
That wasn't there before.
It probably was the mayor since they didn't leave a bottle at that house.
Okay. And yeah. So we bring them all together, and go ahead there, Britt, because this is your plan. I love it.
God. Okay, so we didn't get a name for the one guard that was actually letting us do stuff, right? But could we recognize him by sight at least?
Yeah, he's. There's not a huge amount of guards, so he's.
Okay, so I'm currently picturing like a Chen just having all 5 of these guys kind of piled on his shoulders. And so I'll go in being like tiny and like find him specifically. Be like, hey, you wanted to know what we found out, right?
Yeah.
Well, we rounded up all 5 of the people that were involved and then like wave Chen in. And then I'm like dump them on the floor.
Yes, I'll dump all of them unceremoniously onto the floor, all at once. Like one of them knocks their head on the floor.
Some kind of joke? This is our entire.
No, they were all
console.
dressed in dark clothes and they dragged her out to the tree and murdered her.
And
Because they thought she was getting too uppity for a Sylvan.
what evidence do you have of this?
Well, the mayor told us. So.
Who's still knocked out?
Yes.
I'll wake him up. That's not a problem. We've bound him, all 5 of these men, as well. Now, when we were looking around, did we find these black cloaks?
Did you find the what?
The
Black cloaks that they would be wearing?
You did not.
Did not. Okay.
You're given a sufficient amount of warnings.
No, that's fine.
They were what
You know,
if we
this
all
is-
passed out drunk. Never mind.
I believe this is it, sir. What we found is that we propositioned the mayor, and he was very defensive over the issue. He didn't want to give us any information to begin with, but after finding out information from him, he all but said that he was the one that did so, and that the Sylvans should be segregated, and that all they would do is come in and murder all of you. Do you believe that to be true, sir? What about you there, Possum? Do you believe that to be true?
Why is Possum at the jail? Why are we at the tavern?
Oh,
Where are we?
I thought we brought them all together with the... Yeah, I'm sorry. I was confused.
But you're saying that the guard would say, I mean, I don't. It doesn't sound beyond the realm of possibility that they would say these things, but This is all secondhand information. You're talking about a whole lot of he said, she said.
All right, now give me a moment. And she goes over and she just slaps the mayor right in the face, wake him up. And,
Wait, before she does that, I think Jennifer is going to tug on her arm first
yeah.
and like wave her down so that she can whisper in her ear. She's like, "It's going to be our word against the mayor's at this point. I think they're probably going to believe the mayor. Do you think Possum would be willing to step up and say something?"
He seems to be pretty allegiant, at least to me.
So we could try that.
I'll tell you what. Here, my friend has a great idea. Can you give us say 5 minutes? And if we were to if I was to stay here, I'll have my Minotaur friend stay here and keep an eye on the men for us. That's something you'd be interested in, their jailer.
We have somebody to testify for you.
I think I do.
Very well. And
All right, yeah. So I would certainly, Jitters and I would make our way back to the to the tavern, and go ahead and talk to our buddy.
he's sitting at the bar looking a little meek, wiping down some mason jars.
Oh yeah, we'd have him come in here and take out Samson, huh?
Yeah, you know.
So he probably knows what's going on.
Yeah. So we already did that. That's already been done. But okay. So hey, Possum, how you doing, my friend?
How you doing, man? Cohorse.
Are you drunk?
I think he's still shy because of
He's
the
shy,
back
a little bit
room.
nervous about the whole situation.
There's no reason to be nervous here. I'm going to tell you. How many people are in the bar at this time?
It's pretty empty.
All right. Let me talk to you here for a moment here, Possum. Remember how I was talking about the subject that I was talking about earlier today? About that young lady and so on and so forth, and you seem to not want to talk about it, but you didn't seem to be objectified by it. You don't know what that word means. You didn't seem to be bothered. Do you agree with what the mayor does here? Because it is the mayor.
Agree with what he does?
Do you think that the Sylvans should be
I don't really know what I think. I think it's probably best to keep us apart, especially after something like this.
But what if it was found that there's a group of people that are pushing this whole agenda? Do you think that the young people of this village would like that?
I'm sure they won't take kindly to it.
And aren't you kind of one of those young people here, Possum?
I suppose.
Do you think the guys that wear black clothes are bad guys?
Well, if they killed that little lady, then yeah.
Yes, they did. They did, Possum.
Do you think you could be brave?
And stand up for for your generation. I mean, you're much younger than these men, and that maybe your generation could start taking over.
I know it's not easy to be brave, but we can help you. We already got
Absolutely.
them all tied up, and we just need somebody that isn't an outsider that actually knows who they are and will tell the guard.
Shoot. What do you suppose is going to happen to them?
Well, I suppose it'd be tried, right? And they need a new man to take over for the town. And I think a man such as yourself that is so well respected and owns such a lovely establishment here in town might be the man for that job. What do you think?
I never thought about it before. Truth be told.
You guys could make things better with the Sylvans and maybe not have so much hate going around. And
I
if nothing
suppose.
else, maybe the Sylvans would want to come in and buy drinks off of you, and you'd have even more business. If everybody wasn't so angry at each other. Should we be doing like persuasion checks?
Huh?
Should we be doing like persuasion checks or something?
Oh, no, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm just in character. It's easy enough to figure out what the reaction would be.
This could be a new day.
It's a new dawn. It's a new day.
I was just gonna do it myself.
It's a new life for me.
Yeah, and you'll be
And
feeling good. You'll be feeling really good after this here possum. That Wilbur.
Sun in the sky. You know how I feel.
I do, and you know it's.
That needs to be the title for this episode.
Sun in the sky.
It's such a good song. Anyways, but you know, it's stand up for what's right, there, Wilbur.
I know it won't make everything right. It won't fix everything overnight. But it's a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And we could even try and go to the Sylvans and let them know if everything goes okay.
Would you come
Let
with
them know
us?
that people are being held accountable for being so mean.
But if we're gonna do this, I gotta get something for you. And he kind of brings you outside of the bar to the middle of town where the well is. And he pulls up the bucket and unties and he says, "They told me this here is the rope that they use. You're gonna want to have them look at it."
I think you should have one look at it.
I suppose you're right.
They're gonna believe you. You're the tavern owner in this town. Even though you never wanted to know, you never even maybe thought of this here before. But the tavern owner is usually the most famous person in town. They're the one that keeps everybody happy. The one that brings new people in. You know, it's certainly something that I believe that they'd be stupid not to vote you in as new mayor.
I guess we'll see. First things first, I think we need to have us a little talk down at the jailhouse.
She just kind of gives him a pat as high up as she can reach, which is probably like the small of his back. Like, you're a great, brave person.
Mm. And you is the strangest bunch of cohorts I ever done seen.
Yeah, we're different.
We're strange
Well-
ones.
Mr. Grinch. So yeah, so we make our way over to the jail with good old Wilbur in tow. And approached the guard. Hey, what's the guard's name, Wilbur?
That's Jebediah.
Good old Jeb, huh?
We just call him Dia for short.
Are you friends with him?
I mean, if you spend money in my bar, he's my friend.
All right. Well, let's do this. You and Dia, you know each other. You're friendly. We should go in, and you should have a bit of a conversation with him. I'm gonna let that be private because we don't want him to think that we have pushed you into this thought. So, I'm gonna leave you to it. So we go on in and present who we feel is our person to good old Jebediah, and we let them do their thing.
That sounds good to me. So they cut to a few days later. I would imagine that you guys would stick around to kind of see the outcome.
Yeah.
I'd possibly go to the Sylvans if need be.
Yeah. In the meantime, more evidence is found. A couple of the cloaks are found half burned. They tried to destroy them, but they weren't completely successful.
They were too drunk.
A proper burial was ordered of the body. This kind of dark magic, kind of illusory black ichor that was on this tree has started to fade away. And things are kind of tenuously better between the Sylvans and the settlement. Now that some semblance of justice has been meted out. Ultimately, it sounds as though those responsible will be sentenced to death. But the townspeople are asking of you if you agree with this judgment.
Is that what your guys' normal sentence is for murder?
A life for a life. There just
Then I
Eye
think
for an
you're
eye.
right.
happens to be 5 of them this time. We don't know. They won't tell us which one of them did it. But they was all there.
Then I guess they all did it, didn't they?
It's either that or we lock them up for the rest of their days, but
Sounds expensive.
yes, there's always a chance they could get out too. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on it.
Is this the guard or possum?
Hmm?
Is this Jebediah or possum?
That's the
Talking to us.
possum.
I will stay out of it.
He's kind of the de facto leader at the moment.
Well, Possum, I believe that we did a good thing here. I believe that we stopped maybe the beginning of a genocide, if you know what that means. Um, a few bad seeds at the top of the food chain can certainly make the entire an entire society look bad. And it doesn't look like that's how the rest of your village wants things. And with talking with the Sylvan, that's certainly not the way that they want things. So I think we've done a very good thing here. I'm sorry that they have to die, but sometimes we have to eliminate those that we're going to poison the rest.
I agree. And I thank you for bringing justice to this town.
Well, I thank you for
being
stepping
brave.
up. Yes. Stepping up, being brave, and becoming the intelligent part of this town.
They might have to start calling you Honey Badger instead of Possum.
There we go.
Honey Badger don't care.
No. Things won't be easy for you. But you'll sure be a better leader than they will.
No, it's not going to be easy, but neither is anything in this world worth doing.
That's the truth.
Ain't that the truth,
You would
my
know
friend.
that better than anybody, all of you. All of y'all.
Just always treat
Well,
treat
what I
like you
can
would
tell
any
you
other
is
people, and you'll be okay.
100%. What I can, yeah, 100%. And what I can tell you is here, Wilbur, because your name is Wilbur, not Possum. You've made yourself. We do have another companion usually, but he was. There's a big long story that goes along with that, but you've made yourself at least 4 allies, and if you ever need anything from us, we would certainly be here to help you.
I appreciate it. And if you
So
ever
not
find
very
your
well
way
for
over
one
in this
side,
side of town again, I'll keep a room open for you. Anytime.
That sounds fantastic, Possum. I mean, Wilbur. I think we're gonna have to be on now, though. Do you have anything else you need from us?
Oh no, that's plenty. It's just sad to see you go is all. Pretty lady. And your cohorts.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's. I'm not even gonna try to fix that. Yes, we're your cohorts. You.
All right.
But there'll be none of that fornicating with them with us whores. It's we're just your people, okay?
I'm no problem with it.
All right. Well, we'll be off now. I think we did a good. Again, I really, really think we did a good thing here.
I agree. Now I'll come back now here.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I think that's as good a way to end it as ever.
We solved racism.
Yeah.
Oh, the racism was fantastic in all of this. fantastically horrible, but fantastic at the same time. Thank you. That was a fun session. So
Oh,
much.
yeah. I didn't know where it was going, but then it turned into that, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That was heavy.
Yeah, I know, it was kind of heavy. It was definitely good, but hey, it was a different type of thing for the group of three, and I think it also kind of shows that even though we've done some things that might not, I've certainly done some things that are the greatest. There's always a good person inside of everybody. So it was
Except the mayor.
except for the mayor, except for the bigot mayor.
Listen, as always. Oh, man.
Jan called it. He called it.
It was a lot of fun. I hope that everybody had fun with that.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that we had a couple people watching, so that was kind of cool. It's always fun. I think this one is kind of an easy one to jump into because it's got a beginning and an end without having too much of the main plot line pushing through.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So, anybody that did watch, certainly thank you for doing that.
Yep, and anybody that's watching in the
And,
future, send us a message now so that we can know what the future's like.
And there's usually not this much racism in our stuff. I promise.
No, it's just kind of the issue presented itself in such a way that it made sense to, and I think given everything that's been happening lately, it's kind of hard not to incorporate that idea into a session. So
Absolutely, that's why I was actually happy to be a part of it. To show that there's not everybody.
With Jitter's very strong reaction to everything.
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
personal
And
opinions on the world today.
even got a reaction out of Chin out of that, who's normally not the aggressor. He's normally the pacifier in a situation, but in this particular situation, you kind of can't put up with that. That's kind of like everything that he's against,
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It was certainly something that all three of them came together and realized this was an awful situation, and they weren't gonna let that go.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
And I like Jitter's got to guide someone to be brave.
That was awesome.
And
You did a really good job of that, Britt. You did a really good job with that.
oh yeah,
Thank you.
that was awesome. That's a Jitters I was hoping that Jitters would have an arc like that at some point, for sure.
We're very used to my girl being the strong one. That is certainly something that is that's what she does. But it's certainly cool to see Jitter set stuff up. That was really neat.
I think all our characters are becoming stronger.
Oh yes.
Absolutely.
So next time
hopefully we'll play again before 9 months from now, and
Right. Well,
Right. So at some point, maybe before Christmas, we'll get through season 1. Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Only after
Yeah,
2
yeah.
years of playing this.
Well, speaking of which, we probably will have some kind of a holiday break, so that'll probably be around the time right before then where we reach a cliffhanger or a season finale of sorts.
Hopefully a season finale.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
well,
yes.
hopefully we'll be able to get hopefully 2 games in before that. One more in between then, and then we'll have our season finale. That's what I would hope for.
Yeah, that's
David
we
and I
don't
would-
need the Game of Thrones season 7 rocket powered sled through it if we can help it.
Yeah,
David said he wanted to do a game like 2 weeks from now, right? Or something?
Well, we'll figure it out because we just gotta make it all line up. Yep, we just gotta because I think I have next week off actually, but we shall figure it out. We shall be back.
We shall prevail!
We shall prevail.
Yeah, we'll try.
Maybe we'll fight them on the beaches.
and their homes.
All right,
Root them.
all right, everybody.
Gorshnet.
We're gonna stop broadcasting now because we're just gonna be
Talking about
Yeah,
nothing
it's
and babbling and all.
talking
on
and
and
talking
on
and
and
talking.
on and on. All right. End broadcast.
Bye.
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 Bye. So we should say the ultimate secret